Kenyans. And I was actually, Honorable Junet is helping me by telling me the whip was applied. I am a very faithful and loyal member of it. By the way, I have been a member of the Economic Council of Azimio, advising the leader of Azimio on economic matters. And I was convinced that even though there were some good provisions in the bill, which I mentioned when I was contributing on the floor of the House, you gave me 5 minutes as a speaker. And I said there are some good ones, but the bad ones now have made the good ones look bad. You know, and so the public made a referendum. There was a referendum, an official referendum by the public on this bill. Mr. Speaker, if you looked at the social space, everybody was saying reject. And since I am representing people, not stones, not animals, I had to listen to the people and do what they wanted, Mr. Speaker, by rejecting the bill. So there is no inconsistency. My trust level is still where it was on the Mbadi. And by the way, I don't think I'm not a member of Azimio. I am, only that I'm not an official of Azimio. I mean, I'm not holding any political office. I'm still a member of ODM, by the way. On Arao and Kemwarer, that, I must say, contracts in this country, Mr. Speaker, and my stint as the chair of Public Accounts Committee has taught me something, that the contracts that we sign, especially financial contracts, are lopsided. They're helping the lenders more than they help the country. Why on earth would you start paying interest on money that you have not received? I don't understand it. I don't get it. And this is why I'm saying when I get to the Treasury, if you approve my appointment, my nomination, I will have to get the opinion of the Attorney General. Because you find a lot of money, Mr. Speaker. It will come in the report of Public Accounts Committee. We pay so much money on undrawn funds because it is provided in the contracts. And so those issues around Aurora and Kimwarera and such like equivalent projects, Honorable Mbui, have confidence, will not happen during my tenure. Finally, on Honorable Mbui, how would we navigate the lack of funds? We know there's lack of sufficient exchequer in this country, and that's why we have to divest and move to other areas which are off balance sheet, as I've mentioned before. But more importantly, our project management system. We have 437, Mr. Speaker, that is the latest data that I have, of stalled projects. This is where we have invested money, but they have become white elephants. We must do these stalled projects and see those ones which we can pick up, take them up and complete them. Those which you can treat as sunk cost and discontinue them. But Mr. Speaker, there should be coordination between national and county governments. You find a huge government project, national government project, which was developed even from 10 years ago in a county lying there, yet a county government is constructing another state-of-the-art block of offices. Why can't we have a system where national government can surrender to county government some of these bills so that they can complete and use them? On Honorable Mule, Mr. Speaker, I'm trying to move fast. I hope I'm doing justice to all the questions. Honorable Mule, I know there could be underfunding. There is underfunding of the health sector. But I think health sector, we must look at it in totality. Before we even calculate how much we spend, we must find out how much national government is spending and how much county governments in total, 47 of them, because we have one country with 48 governments, which should be interdependent. So when calculating how much we spend on health, we should take it in totality and make sure that any money that is supposed to be devolved for health is devolved for health. We should not keep money at the national level here, implementing things on projects which should have actually been implemented by the counties, and have a coordination on how this is done. It may not be my exclusive, it may not be exclusive duty of this office that I'm supposed to get to. We have the Senate to oversight this. We have county assemblies, and we have and we have control of budget. We must work collectively. So that would address the issue of ring-fencing the money. We must allocate more resources to that department. Finally, Mr. Speaker, all this would only bear fruits if all agencies work together, including the the EACC and other DCI and other agencies which help us in fighting wastage of public resources.
Good. Russell. Honorable Dida Russell.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable John Mbadi, I think my entry is about the Treasury. Reform in Treasury is really important. As it were, Treasury is being manned by, I think, 2 or 3 tribes. Kenya has 42 different communities. All of them should be represented where the national cake is being shared. Having said that, my question is on financial inequalities in this country, where most of the rural constituencies, communities, or areas are actually totally marginalized, and they are not part of the mainstream economy. The question is, if the House will give you the job, what are some of the initiatives you are likely to undertake so that places like Suba, Moyale, Mandera, Lamu are part of the mainstream economy of this country? Finally, is on what we call funds. People are keeping money in their homes because you are told, don't bank more than 1 million shillings a day. These are prescriptions, we are told, from the World Bank, the IMF, and the money is not in circulation in Kenya. And even in counties, where we are told people actually steal a lot of money there than in the national government, people are not banking money. What are some of the initiatives you are likely to undertake to make sure that actually Kenyans are confident that they'll be taking money to the banks, and it is more safer in the banks than when they are in their homes? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Abdi Sharia.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mheshimiwa John Mbadi. And for me, there's a team called the pensioners. You can imagine they've been working for maybe over 40 years, doing a lot of good work, contributing to nation building. But unfortunately, when they retire, and expecting now the nation to repay them back and so that they can enjoy their retirement in peace, they end up following their pension payments, sometimes for years. What are your plans to ensure long-term sustainability of pension schemes and the timely payment of pensions to the beneficiaries, considering the growing physical pressures? I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Ms. Shimbogo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I have 2 questions, but they're very simple. My question number 1 to the nominee, Honorable Mbadi. You have seen recently that there have been public unrest due to economic hardship. What specific policy will you implement to stabilize the economy and restore public confidence in the Treasury? Kenyans are saying that you have been given that docket knowing that there's no money in the national coffers. And one of the reasons they're saying that it is the appetite in terms of borrowing. Why do we borrow beyond the ceiling, which has been put using our regulation or other policies? Why do we borrow for projects which cannot finance itself? For instance, there's this project of SGR, where we took a big loan from the Exim Bank in China, and up to date, it has been a challenge for us to finance that loan. Why do we sometimes just borrow using foreign currency, and when our shilling goes down, it becomes a big challenge to us? Why can't we just know that, are we taking non-concessional loans or are we taking concessional loans? And why are we taking conditional loans which are not favorable to our country? My second question, it is on economic inequalities, which remains very high in this country, with significant disparity between urban and rural areas. And that is why we had the narrative of hustlers versus royal, or rather versus bourgeoisie. To me, inclusive growth strategies are needed to ensure that marginalized groups benefit from economic advancement. How will you ensure that economic growth will benefit the women and persons with disability? I thank you, Honorable Chairman.
Can we take Mukami as well?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My question is that there are many unclaimed financial assets that have not been claimed by rightful owners. What strategies will you employ to raise public awareness of the existence of these agencies to the public? The other thing, I really wanted to support you regarding KRA. There were very good system in KRA when they were recruiting the university graduates. And the government had invested a lot of money. In fact, they used to have even an intelligence department. And even those graduates were taken for training. Later on, I don't know what happened because all those graduates were fired. So what I would like to ask you, if you happen to get this chance, are you going to instate those people? Because they are trained, they know what they are supposed to do, instead of recruiting other.
You can answer those, John?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And honorable members, I'll start with the questions from Honorable Raso. On reforming Treasury, I think I talked about it, and I am committed to reforms at the Treasury. About 2 or 3 tribes manning the Treasury. Well, as a matter of fact,